Great. Nick, how's it going?
Charles, good. How are you?
Thank you for joining me today. If you could give our viewers a quick introduction of yourself, I think they would all appreciate that.
I'm Nick Reichart, co-founder of The Good Couch. Started out as a couch flipper 7 years ago at this point, right out of college. I was guiding fly fishing, and my buddy was, he was a photographer, and we both wanted to make some extra money. So we started on Craigslist flipping couches, and we've got 8 employees now and 3,300 square foot retail space that we sell the couches out of. And yeah, that's still doing it.
If I remember correctly from our previous conversations, in 2023, you should be on track for hitting your first 7-figure revenue year. Is that still the case?
Yeah, we're a little behind where I want to be, but we're going to be close or hit the 7-figure mark. Yeah, it's exciting.
Awesome. Obviously at Ivy Flip, we work with quite a few couch flippers all over the US and Canada. A lot of our flippers are solopreneurs. They work in their business. They bring in people to help them move occasionally, but generally, if they're not working, the business is not growing. And the really cool thing about what you guys have been able to do is that now it's a multi-person operation. Like right now, it's Friday morning out in Colorado, and I can see that you're out in the mountains, but the business is still running.
Right.
And so that's where I think a lot of couch flippers aspire to be. And I'd love to dig into that a little bit with you today.
Right. So yeah, it was my buddy and I. Lance happened to notice on Craigslist that there were all these free couches that looked like they were in good shape, and there were also couches for hundreds of dollars selling on Craigslist. And so we went and started picking up those free couches. We were amazed that people were, giving couches away for free. And we would, our first couch, we rubbed shoe polish on it because it was a leather couch, and that was the only leather product we were aware of at the time. So to try to give it some life. So we had no idea what we were doing, but we tried to open a bunch of locations, and that didn't work out very well. So we had to shut those down, but just kind of a story of, trying out different things, bootstrapping, trying to keep growing. So finally got to the point where we started to really systematize stuff, understand how the market worked, where the holes in the market were, where the demand was, where the supply was, and kind of got to where we're at now.
I think a big jump for any flipper who's trying to scale their business is to bring on an employer, bring on contractors. All of a sudden, their net margin decreases substantially because let's say you can gross $300 on a couch, but you have to pay someone $100 to move and clean it.
Right.
$150. And all of a sudden, 50% of your gross profits are gone.
Right.
And of course, that is something that you've grappled with firsthand. You have 8 employees. So I'm wondering, how did you overcome that challenge?
Yeah. So first thing was trying to decide who to hire first. First hire that we made was a cleaning and repair guy. In order to do that, we saved up to give us a 1-month runway where even if we lost money through that month or didn't have a great month, we had runway to keep that person on for a full month. And then what we found is every time we made those hires, the investment was worth it. It would pay off, and we would actually not just make it through the month, but kind of grow the business to make up for that additional cost, and then also be able to start saving more for the next hire.
So when you say that the investment was worth it, the time you got back in your day allowed you to do what? How did that investment pay off?
No, exactly. So by freeing our time up on cleaning couches, we were able to spend more time. This was before Ivy Flip, but spend more time looking for couches, finding better deals, running around and picking up more couches.
If you're a couch flipper and you're contemplating an additional employee or two, how should you be prioritizing your time? What are the highest value uses of your time as a manager, someone that is allocating work as opposed to someone that is doing the work?
I mean, I think that as an entrepreneur, time is your most valuable asset. You're the person who has to make the big picture decisions. Do we move into a warehouse? How much time can you take to shop around for the next location that you're going to move into? Do we make that next hire? When can we make that next hire? I think that keeping track of your finances closely is really important. The value that you bring as an entrepreneur, a lot of the time comes from your ability to step away from the day-to-day operations of the business and look at your business as a whole rather than how do we sell the next couch.
When you were making these initial hires, you were allowing them to focus on the labor aspects, whether it be moving, cleaning, delivering. And you were in charge of more of the customer service aspects, whether it be sourcing couches or communicating with potential buyers.
Yep, exactly. And then now at this point, I don't have to look at even that side of it. I've got full-time salesperson who is able to post our inventory, talk to the customers. He's the one who's using Ivy Flip on a daily basis for us and looking for those deals. And say someone comes into the shop and is looking for something specific, he's able to keep a list of people and what they're looking for, and then utilize your app to look for those for them. Then we bring them in, clean them up, and we've already got a customer. So it has transitioned to where all of those daily operations type of activities are kind of taken care of.
Obviously, it's been a long road for you over the past 7 years. Not all sunshine and rainbows. So if you could reflect back, what is something that comes to mind as one of the most challenging aspects of running and growing your business to date?
So some of the biggest challenges along the way were definitely choosing which position to hire next and when to do that, because eventually your time bottlenecks. You end up spending all of your time doing cleaning and sourcing, and then you're spending all your time selling, and then you're spending all your time managing those people. So choosing which hires to make and when, those were the bottlenecks that kept coming up year after year. Who do we hire next? How much do we need to save to make that worth the investment? How do we know that we're going to be able to pay that off? And in addition to that, finding a good location and moving is expensive. Landlords can be a pain. The location has to be right where your customers are able to find you, and you have to be close enough to the source of your inventory to keep things efficient.
Got it. So the location thing is interesting. So if I remember correctly, you recently moved locations, maybe in the past year or so, and now you're smack dab in a prime downtown Denver location. What impact has location had for your business?
Well, yeah, we moved at the end of last year. And last year, for example, 80% of couches were selling kind of sight unseen, and 20% were selling to people who would come by and try the couches out first. We were a little bit off the beaten path and about 20 to 30 minutes or worse outside of Denver. And where we've moved to is, 10-minute drive from downtown, right on the main street that goes through Denver, right smack in the middle of where a lot of our customers come from. So that 80-20 has flipped to where now 80% of customers buy here at the store and 20% online, sight unseen, either through online marketplaces or our website. Revenue has grown, but one significant benefit of that 80-20 flip is our returns have gone down by over 90%. We almost never have returns. Previously, when we would deliver couches sight unseen, we always did returns, and that was more just so that we would keep a good rapport with our customers. We wanted to make sure we had 5-star reviews across Google, Yelp, Facebook. And so I think we've got at least couple hundred between all of those. They're all 5 stars.
What you mentioned just now, I think is a really important point. And oftentimes when I see our flippers talking about a return policy, their mentality is that the couch is being sold as is. And therefore, if there are any issues or if the customer wants to return it, that they're generally not going to accept returns. Whereas you took the opposite approach, right? Yep. You're like, if you're not satisfied for any reason, we'll take the couch back. Obviously at a cost, that comes at a cost.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're saying that cost was worth it for you in the long run. So could you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, why was it so important for you, and looking at your success that you've had so far, to maintain that relationship with your customers, even at the expense of accepting returns?
Yeah. So I think, I think that there's a definitely image problem, especially in the used furniture space, that people are kind of wary of buying used couches. Not there's a market for furniture, right? There's 100 people looking to buy a couch today in Denver. 90 of them are probably going to go buy a new couch, either online on Wayfair or Amazon, or they're going to go to a retail store and buy a new couch. The 10 that are willing to buy used are kind of looking at it with a skeptical eye. They want to, there are those out there who just love buying used and for the sake of used, and that's great, and that definitely is a growing demographic. But the people who might be willing to buy used often get scared away with, oh, it's going to be dirty, or I'm going to deal with someone shady on an online marketplace. And we wanted to totally flip that perception and just show like it can be an awesome experience to buy a used couch. It's going to be clean. It's going to be delivered to you. We're going to move it in. We're going to take care of you. And so that's really helped grow word of mouth business. People love shopping at our store at this point, and we get tons of referrals, tons of return customers at this point. So I'm really glad we took that approach.
I think for some people, it's hard to conceptualize. You're going to sell someone a couch, and then maybe even a year or two later that they would come back to you for another couch.
Right.
It seems like a couch is sort of a semi-permanent fixture within your home. You're not like swapping in and out couches all the time. But in your experience, this has not been the case, that, you treat a customer well, they will come back to you. More importantly, they're advocating for your business and bringing you new customers.
Yep. 100%. I think everyone would buy a used couch over a new one if it was purely based on affordability. So like obviously far less expensive to buy a used couch than a new one. It's the customer service side, friendliness side, are you working with someone you trust side, that's what keeps people from buying used more than anything. If
you're a couch flipper and you're in your first year or two, it seems like your advice here would be focus not on optimizing your transactions, but building a brand, building reputation, having good service.
100% for me. I think if you're planning on, like, if you quit your job for this, or you are considering quitting your job for this, or you're making a great side income off of this, why not build a brand? Why not make the customers happy? It shouldn't be so much about making a buck. I think that's one of the beautiful things about like flipping used furniture is it's low barrier to entry. It's a great way to make a side income. But if you're going to do that, why not build a brand around it? Why not build something valuable that, can live on? Maybe you can then sell your business to another flipper someday, or it can be something larger than yourself, larger than just the money that's coming in.
And Nick, one thing that I've always appreciated about our conversations is your vision for the future, because, obviously you started out yourself flipping couches and you've scaled your business to 8 employees, almost 7 figures in revenue. And yet you don't seem to be content. Like every year that you've been in business, the ambition has grown greater and greater. I'd love to hear a little bit about what you think the future of used furniture retail is going to be like.
Like I was mentioning earlier, the stigma around buying used furniture is the biggest barrier to selling more used couches. Like people out here couch flipping in Denver, when we were the first ones doing it, there may have been another 1 or 2 guys out here doing it who had kind of figured it out. We would reach out to people as we saw, like, oh, look at this guy's selling, flipping couches out of his garage. We would reach out to them and be like, hey, like, we're doing the same thing. You want to ever connect or share and share insights or what you're seeing in the market? And a lot of the time early on, it was kind of people were trying to hold stuff close to the vest, and I don't want anyone else figuring this out. My mentality has always been the opposite, that why don't we create an ecosystem, an environment where the couch flipping model is something that instead of people saying, oh, I don't know about buying used because of X, Y, and Z, why don't we make it a bigger thing? Make it something where someone's moving into their first apartment. It's like, oh, you should find a couch flipper to buy a couch from. They sell good quality couches. They find the good deals. They'll deliver it for you. They keep the couches clean. I see a future where both for environmental reasons, sustainability reasons, as well as economic reasons. The couch flipper is the first place to go to look for your next couch. You can get a higher quality piece of furniture for far lower price if you can work with a couch flipper who's reputable. So I think the more the merrier. Like let's get a bunch of people flipping couches. Let's get a bunch of people doing it really well, like getting excellent at doing it, and kind of create an ecosystem of people out in the world doing it. Make it a more well-known thing among consumers that, hey, this is a thing. We just had an article written about us in the Colorado Sun and some of the work that we're doing, and seeing a ton of people with really positive feedback, really happy that we're out here doing it. I know some flippers will be dishonest sometimes, and that's the opposite approach that we should be taking. We should say, oh, I flip couches for a living. This is what I do. It's my side income. Let's be proud of it and make it an awesome thing to do. Convert more customers to the used market instead of the wasteful new market. Yeah, that's my vision for the future.
That's an amazing vision and an amazing mentality. One of the reasons that I enjoy our conversations, like working with you, you're absolutely right. So many couch flippers that I've interacted with, they think that if I share my secrets, I tell other people how I'm running my business, how I'm doing my sourcing, how I'm doing my negotiations, et cetera, that's my competitive advantage. It's getting other people into the game, and therefore it's making my slice of the pie smaller. But you have the opposite mindset. You have an abundance mindset.
Yep.
Where if you can get more people into the game, we can grow this market overall. We can reduce the stigma against used furniture, and we can all share in those profits.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. And so I know that one of the initiatives that you're working on is to provide resources to flippers. Now, at Ivy Flip, we do that, but we do this more on the tech and the sales side, let's say sourcing and sales side of things. But your angle is physical infrastructure for flippers. So I'd love to hear more about that and what you have to offer to flippers out in the Denver area.
Yeah, thank you. When we purchased this new retail space, we decided to go for a smaller space so that we could elevate the brand, command higher price points. In doing that, we have set aside half of our retail space to lease to couch flippers. So it's kind of like an antique mall, if people are familiar. It's leasing small portions of a really professional looking high quality space to multiple flippers so that multiple flippers can showcase their inventory all in one spot. So when we're finished, we'll have ourselves, the good couch, and 4 other flippers flipping out of this location. And the benefit for us is we get to have more inventory available to customers. Good high quality stuff through working with the best flippers in the Denver area. The benefit for the flipper is they have a really professional looking space to showcase their inventory, as well as 6 days a week, regular business hours, full-time salesperson there to show people, show customers the flipper's inventory. So instead of having to go meet someone at your storage unit, you can be sending people to look at your inventory all day long, 6 days a week. We're also providing, cleaning. I would say it's state-of-the-art cleaning facility at the Good Couch. We've been doing it for long enough that we're really good at it and have all the best equipment. And, we've got the cleaning available. We've got the staging, photographing. Really helps command a higher price point too. I hope they're doing this. We can show that it works. We just launched a couple weeks ago, and we've got just one guy flipping out of there right now, Tyler, and he's crushing it already. So I think it's going to work well. And hopefully we can kind of show that this works and might be able to replicate it across the country eventually, would be the idea. Make it into a place to go shop for your next couch.
That's amazing. And I can see how this would work in other parts of the US as well. The thing that's super cool about that is what you're doing for couch flipping is sort of what WeWork did for office space. So if you're a young startup and you wanted to get a commercial lease on an office, you'd have to do at least a year commitment, maybe 2. And then there are a ton of ancillary services and costs that you may not be thinking of, like paying for a cleaning service, utilities, et cetera. And so the WeWork model allowed people to have individual offices, but also to share common areas and share common resources like printing, cleaning, kitchen area, et cetera, et cetera. And that's exactly what you guys are doing for couch flippers.
Yep.
In that now you have a space, you can showcase your inventory, you can go clean your couches, you can stage them, take good photos. All of the equipment is there available for you to use. And let's say you're not physically able to show a couch, there's someone on premises that can show the couch for you. Sounds like an amazing deal. And you have an early adopter already on board with the concept. He's doing well.
Yeah.
You have 3 more spots out in Denver. I'm super excited to get an update on this maybe in a couple months in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about it. It's exciting.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much for hopping on, talking with me today and the rest of the Ivy Flip community. And so, I appreciate your time. I'm going to let you get back to your nature hike here.
Cool.
And we'll be sure to talk to you.
All right. Thank you, Charles. Always good talking to you.